Alrighty, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me out in internet land. Let me get the music down a little bit. How goes it, everybody? Uh, welcome. Hello, everybody. Sir, I'm surprised you are here given your visit from the... I know. It was just to try to, like, get back into, like, making sure the streaming stuff still works after having been off for 2 weeks. So it's going to be a short stream today since the Kool-Aid Man is coming back. Kool-Aid Man is not done with me. They got to come back. They just patched it, and they got to come back tonight, and they're going to shut off the water and continue to tear out my wall and replace the pipes. So that's gonna be my evening tonight, and hopefully they can get it done. So that's the whole thing. Yeah, no, water's all stocked. Yeah. So and that literally, I had been getting notices that they were gonna be shutting the water on and off all day, and I got a call randomly like an hour before I was set to start stream being like, hey, can you like they just want to check to see if the leak is in your like if they can't find where the source of the leak is, so it's above you or it's above the apartment that's getting the leak. So maybe can we come in and like see if, maybe there's a leak in there. And they came in and were like, oh, we don't see anything. And then they went back down, and I was like, cool, we're all good. And then literally right before I was supposed to start stream, they came up and they're like, we need to open up your wall because we're pretty sure it's above you. And they did, and they found the leak. And it was indeed it's literally right behind all of my electronics. It's behind all of my TV and everything. So right now, like, my entire living room is completely torn apart, and there's just a giant gaping hole now. behind that, and like everything's like I had to unhook everything and like pull everything. Yeah, it's weird. I don't even know why there's plumbing back there. That wall faces a balcony. I didn't even realize there was plumbing there. Wild. Anyway, hey, Patio Skunk, welcome in. Oh, I saw that you boosted the Discord. Thank you so much for that. I just saw that, or I at least just got a notice from that. So anyway, so that's the vibe today. The vibe today has been, I'm still like dealing with burnout because after I got back from my trip, I had a bunch of work stuff I had to take care of, and then there was like a bunch of work stuff on top of that, so I'm still kind of like not totally back feeling great. And so of course like this had to happen. Is it where the mold comes from? I mean, there's the plumbing in this building is so bad. There's probably mold everywhere. I feel the pain. Just had to replace a new rear gutter on the house because water was pouring in the bedroom window. Yeah, that's no good, Patio Skunk. That is no good at all. Oh wow, I hope it helps the drainage behave better. And may it have been under 4 digits. Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because we don't have to pay for any of it because we're renters, but it's a whole thing. I don't know. We'll see. We will see what happens. But yeah, that's, and just in case you all want to, like, for full disclosure about how my apartment has handled leaks in the past, I still have floor damage in 2 spots because I have like really cheap wooden floors. I have floor damage in 2 spots of my apartment that have been there for 3.5 years because they just come in, they fix the leak, they replace the wall, but like they didn't do anything about the floor damage. So I just have like messed up flooring like in my apartment that they just never come and fix no matter how much I bug them about it. They're like, oh yeah, we'll get to that, and they never show up. So it's a whole thing. So I'm hoping that luckily it doesn't look like I have any water damage, but it's still means that they got to come in, and they said that like the wood was all soaked, so who knows. Ours was a swimming pool for a few weeks ago, and apparently it was just clogged with 100 sugar maple seeds. Oh yeah, for the cryptid, that'll absolutely. As a former pond cleaner, I know what leaves can do to a fuel like to a pool or pond pump. I have seen that and the damage that can do. Anyway, enough about me and apparently coming home to an apartment falling apart. Um, enough about that. How's everybody doing? How's everybody been doing these past few weeks? It's been a hot minute since I ran off to Asia. Hopefully everybody has been well. The world isn't treating you too badly. I hope, at least. That sounds about right. Our first apartment had a sinkhole in the floor. Jesus. We just put a road cone over it. That one of the housemates brought home. Hell yeah, hell yeah. That I love that. I love that. Just 100% like nope, nope. Just gonna just rope it off so you can't fall in. My dad. So there was an old like hangar house. It's like a 1 bedroom thing that sits next to a hangar, but it had a basement, and there was no railing, so I had to go help my dad install like a railing system because there was just a hole in the middle of the floor that like goes down to the basement that like if you weren't careful you just fall in. So I had to help him go like put in a railing around it so you didn't just walk into a hole. Yeah. Suffering but doing better today. Oh no, Cryptid, I'm sorry. We survived the new worst heat. That's right. You're in the middle of a heat wave, aren't you? All right, we're gonna switch music over. For whatever reason, the music like unless I have the stupid thing open. All right, let's do Herbie Hancock. Let's rock some 70s funk while we hang. Yeah, I'm assuming the heat wave. It's hot here, but I know you all are getting hit by like the really bad heat wave, Cryptid. Ugh. I'm glad it's over, right? Like, is the heat wave done? I took this entire week off work, and somehow I've been more busy than when working. I think that's how work works, Patio Skunk. I feel like that's just what happens. I feel like essentially, when you're forced to like go into work and have to work, like you just, it's the grind. You're just kind of dragging your feet the whole time. But when you actually feel like you've got your own time and are in control of your own schedule and in control of your own life, sometimes you somehow get a lot done. I think it's like half a psychological thing and half the way that we do work, or at least approach work, is like psychologically destructive to us. Listen, that's how you learn observance. Exactly, Cryptid. Just don't fall into the hole. You're through the heat wave. Good, because we're far east. It's done here. It's 60s and gray with rain. I would indeed love that, Cryptid. That is my jam. That is what I want in life. All right, let me just update this really quick. But we're up, just so folks know. All right. Yeah, the Midwest is still in it though. Stay safe out there. Yeah. It's like it was hitting like 100 degrees out there, wasn't it? I'm imagining. Oh yeah, it's been about catching up on things. Forgot how fun it was to replace a ceiling fan. I think there's like if you're not like stressed out about it, there's a beauty. There's a beauty to just doing like menial housework, or like simple to repair but repairable items. It's very satisfying. The few times I've done it in my apartment, which I tend not, obviously you tend not to do because you don't own it, but it is nice. It is it's nice and it's freeing. And it makes you feel like you can do shit. Like you're like, I'm a handyman. I don't know. Makes me feel good. Nice when you're not rushed. Exactly. Well, exactly, Patio Skunk. When you're not like scrambling and exhausted. Exactly. Oh god, 106. That's how bad it was. That is awful. Jesus. Yeah. That's like Arizona temperatures. Well, yeah. The Earth is on fire. Hey, Ghostly, welcome in. it's gonna be short today, folks. It's gonna be a short stream. I feel like I'm gonna reiterate that it's gonna be short today. I've been doing the same, Patty. I was just getting caught up with house stuff in my brief time off. Exactly. Yeah. Welcome, 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 Ghostly. Hello. Hey, Sensei. 100. Yeah, exactly. 106 is instant pour sweat. Yeah. I figure we'll read today. So if you want me to read things, I have a screenplay I need to read. So if you want me to read your stuff, we can do reading some ghostly stuff, and then for the other sprints, if we run out of time, or if I get through the reading that, I'm probably gonna read during the sprints, because I'm still kind of figuring out what the next project's gonna be and all that kind of stuff. So, and as a reminder, Muppet, we do not have central air. The house is over a century. It is not built for such things. That used to happen to us in Fort Collins. When I was in Colorado, none of those buildings had central AC or any. It was all just fans or things. So that's how that goes. I like how Ghostly, you're like, I'm sorry I'm late. It's like I was the one who was late. I was the one who was over an hour late as my apartment is getting torn apart. I've written 0 words, but I worked on the yard and put up sconces. I ordered a scythe. Hell yes, Cryptid, you're gonna have a scythe? Fuck yeah. That's badass. Would you like me to bring in Vamp Book tomorrow? If you want to, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I am not I'm probably not gonna be doing any I'm not gonna be doing any writing this week. In terms of like writing on stream. I'm still figuring out what the next project's gonna be, what I'm gonna be working on, that kind of stuff. I fell into the void. You're not late at all. A ghost arrives exactly when she means to. But now I must say, Sensei, I missed you. Aw, I missed you all too. I've definitely missed streaming. It's been a lot of running around and being crazy. So actually being able to finally sit at my desk and try to get work done, we'll see. So that'll be exciting. I'm very curious how I sent off Schism to readers, so I'm very excited to see what their feedback has been on it outside. I know Ghostly read it, but very excited to see what kind of feedback we get on Schism from the folks. From the writer folks. So that'll be exciting. I am giving up traditional mowing. Scything is definitely easier on me, and it's also way more badass, Cryptid. Like, I feel like scything is just way fucking cool. It's like way cooler. You started on camera? Oh, Ghostly, you're filming now? I've been filming FTX's Big Army Camping in the Woods. Ooh, how's that been going, Ghostly? How are you enjoying the filming? Good to have you back, Muppet, and I hope the feedback is lovely. Agreed. If your critics don't love it, I'll break the knees. And we'll see. We'll see how they feel. It's a weird script, so we'll see. Twilight, it's a disease. I love it so much. You're getting the bug. You're getting the film bug. See, I'm glad you love it. I'm glad this is opening new doors and awakening new arts for you. The next big thing will be if you ever wind up getting onto a film set. Everybody, the thing about working on a film set, particularly like long hours and long days, is people. It does things to people. It's like it's a real thing. It's only something that can be experienced. Is working on a film set, watching a bunch of very creative, very talented people come together to like create art, but in this like almost like army-ish, with like just tons of people working together to like do a thing. It's like a drug. I've watched people who had no interest in filmmaking that just wanted to help out on a film set just completely change their life and be like, I want to work on film sets every day. It's addicting. It is really addicting. Wilight's master plan is coming to fruition. Exactly. I'm just yes. Yes, perfect. It's starting with the screenwriting. It started with screenwriting, Ghostly. Exactly, yeah. The gal who's training me is impressed by how willing I am to just march into a bush and get into an army boy's face like 1 foot from the barrel of a gun, no hesitation. Exactly. Good, Ghostly. Good. I think she'd be correct. Yeah. I do not have the energy to work on Phil. It would probably suit Ghostly just fine. No energy problem there. Yeah, right, Patio Skunk. Yeah, there's definitely yeah, if you're like once you start like that's kind of why you people don't last super long. There are people who make it into like adulthood, but they're like I feel like the people that make it not adulthood, but like people who are in their 70s and their 80s who are still working on film sets, but I feel like they have the same sort of whatever it might be, whatever it is that like Mick Jagger and those guys got, where they're still going out doing rock music at like 75 years old. There's something special about them because a lot of people peter out before that. Even I'm considered old for if I was just working like grunt work, like PA work, or even like grip work on set. I'd probably be on the like middle-aged to older side. A lot of grips would be younger than me. I mean, you get a lot of older. Usually, you wouldn't get a lot of older grips, so you get a lot of older like gaffers, like people who've moved up, or key grips, things like that. But which are more like organizational, managerial, and a little less just like hoofing it. Um, I also let's see. I also got to climb an obstacle and film from it. Oh, that's dude. Getting into weird positions, like just finding a weird spot to go film. I wonder if I should show it. I wonder if I can find it. I probably can find it. I made like a video, like a tone poem. It was just visuals with music, nothing, no like art. But I did it when I was in India, just on the side while I was working in Mumbai. And I remember I did. You're gonna start doing this, Ghostly, but you do need to be careful because I do remember the guy thought he was gonna watch me die because I got really close to a train. I got like really close to a train for a shot, and they were all just like, "Oh, we're gonna watch him die. We're gonna watch him just get run over by a train in southern India." Cool. But I know what you mean, Ghostly, because I've done that. I've done the you climb into some weird spot or some precarious, like probably dangerous area to go get a shot. I've done it. You're getting the bug. I think Ghostly's getting the bug, which is great. Which is great. Never give up writing, but I'm very happy to see you kind of expand your horizons. Ghostly put the handle of the camera down her pants and climbed a cumbersome wooden slab. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I wonder, so you don't have to do it like that again, Ghostly, if you can. Usually some cameras have grip things that what you can do is like clamp them. Like if you get a belt or something like that, you can clamp it so it'll at least dangle so you don't have to do that and possibly destroy the camera. I barely handle my house. The idea of also being on my feet all day at work is a big no. Yep. I am for the library and my words. Yeah. There's a part of me now. There's a part of me that's definitely more homebound, working at home, doing home things. But I'm a sucker for set. The moment I will be there's a famous quote by Stanley Kubrick, even though he said that it was Spielberg who told him this, and it's the right, but the hardest part of directing is getting out of the car in the morning. And that is true. When you're on a film set, when you're running a show like that, the hardest thing to do is literally just to get out of the car. Like getting up in the morning, getting ready, getting there is like filled with nothing but dread and despair. And the moment you get onto set, it's like everything changes. It just, I don't know. It's like crack. It's just like crack. It's the only way that I can justify how I can get away with sleeping 2.5 hours a night for 2.5 months and even have that be possible. It's just, there's something about it. It's crazy. But it does take a lot out of you, and you do have to pace yourself, or you will just straight up have like emotional, physical, and mental breakdown. I'm glad to do it a few times. I was glad to do it a few times, but it was super tiring. I couldn't do it every day. Yeah, and some people just go from the people who always impress me, Patio Skunk, are like the actual like on set like below the line crew guys, because those guys just go from show to show to show. So lots of times, sometimes they won't even have like a week or two down. They'll just go from one show, oftentimes oscillating between night shoots and day shoots, so their sleep schedules are all fucked. And then they'll go straight into another show where, like, when you're running it, obviously you do get some downtime. And then, like, most of your work, most like the whole year after you're on set, if you're like you're directing or in that side or in like a DP, you're in post at that point. So the rest of your job is just sitting in dark rooms with the editor, the color timing, music, all that kind of stuff. So like the lot of the work kind of, that's the stuff that can start to get tedious too. That like becomes a little less like intense. Why, like, this is a cooperation. Our cameras are over 10 years old and never super fancy. Interesting. Why, like, this is a corporation. Our cameras are over 10 years. Well, what kind of camera is it, Ghostly? Do you know? I'm curious what kind of camera you're filming on. I can probably tell you about it, depending on what kind of camera it is. It's a brick with a handle. Something Sony and old. Okay, it's a Sony. Okay. All right. Your assignment at work is to figure out the model number of that camera and send it and let me know, so I'm curious about the camera, because I primarily work on Sony cameras, so I have a lot of history with Sony cameras. Particularly when I was doing documentary work, because Sony cameras are really good for documentary work, so it actually makes sense. It makes sense you're filming on Sonys. One day I was an extra. I left the house around 2 a.m. and got home around 10, 11 p.m. I've never been so tired. That's a long day. Yeah, they definitely put you to the grind on that one, Patio Skunk. That's because I'm assuming you had to go in for makeup. Usually you're just sitting around, but crowd scenes can yeah. I mean, your average shooting day is going to be 12 hours, not including travel. So traveling to and from set, so 12 to 14. Usually on a crowd scene, if it was a packed day, they probably pushed it to a second lunch. They could have gone to 14. As you find out, it was only made 10 years ago. Yeah, yeah. It's like the camera I used primarily for a lot of my documentary stuff, like the stuff I shot in Mumbai, I was shooting on the Sony A7S Mark II, and that was like a little DSLR, but it shot really good video, and it was hyper mobile, so it was fantastic for doing like on the ground work. Very good in low light too. And that camera's over 10 years old. It was during COVID, so had to get an extra early. Oh, gotcha, Patty. Yeah, the COVID test. Yep. Yeah, that just made. I'm actually curious. I'm shocked that they've had you, because that was the big complaint, is that people were only getting 10 working hours a day because of the COVID protocols. So people were like line producers were losing their minds about that. So it's interesting that you ended up doing the 12-hour day anyway. You ended up doing the 14-hour day anyway with the COVID protocols. It's funny. The biggest issue the gal who's training me said I have is shakiness. You have a natural tremble, and overcoming that has been a struggle. There's certain cameras and certain lenses that will have image stabilization, which is essentially, it's like a little gimbal inside the camera that can accommodate that. Specifically, you really don't want to use it for like running around being shaky, but it can do a really good job of minimizing if you do have a tremble, or if your hands have a little bit of if you have a little bit of like a shake. There are ways to accommodate that. There are also ways that you could probably shoot on a gimbal too. We only do stationary shots. Yeah, okay. You might. I wonder if you can get a monopod. Because a monopod isn't too difficult. It's not like having to lug around an entire tripod. And if you're doing stationary shots, you might be able to just plop it on a monopod and just have it so you can have the camera braced. Depending on how heavy the camera is, too, you could probably get a really light, very mobile monopod, too. Only 10 working hours. Oh, cryptid. Yeah, it's this is the film life. This is what we do. It's why we're exhausted all the time. It's why when you work in film, it's almost impossible. This is why when people talk about like maintaining relationships and marriages and just social life stuff in the film industry can be difficult. It's why they tend to only associate with other film people. And you do have to make some major concessions if you do, particularly if you work on. You do have to make some major concessions, but that's why. It's because it really burns you. It becomes your life. They at least paid us for everything, including testing. Yeah, okay, good. At least you were getting paid for that. I'm assuming they have different rules now than they used to back in the day, so I'm assuming you're under the new rules for background actors. Used to just be a day rate, but I'm assuming now it's an hour rate. It used to be a day rate with overtime for all that, so I figure. This is how I find out film crews are working longer hours than unionized nurses. It's about the same, I would say. I'd say it's about. I would be willing to bet that nurses are actually probably working, and their job is fundamentally harder. Like no matter how hard film world is, like the job, like the things and the intensity that nurses are working under are way more intense. So being a nurse would be way rougher. Particularly if you're working in like an urgent care clinic or an ER nurse, you 100% like yeah you're working. Even if you are technically working less hours, it's not like dudes. Believe me, but if you're on a big show, like you're there all day, there is also a lot of standing around as you're waiting for. You're always waiting on something on a film set, man. You're always waiting on something. My gal says, let's see, we only do my gal says it's a Sony 4K camcorder. Yeah, I mean, that's most modern Sonys. She doesn't know the exact type. Okay, yeah, find out, and we'll discuss further. We have monopods. The biggest issue is we move around soldiers who don't usually stay stationary and, going through unbeaten mid-American bush. Yeah, that's true. But, this is where here, this is the challenge, Ghostlies. This is where you have to get creative. This is where you got to get creative with how you find your shots, how you set up your shots, and accommodate for essentially what you have and what you can do. So everything on a film set is a problem. It's always a problem. Essentially, all day, every day on film sets or filming anything is your problem solving. Things are not going to be ideal. Everything is going wrong, and you have to problem solve it. That is every single thing. Yep, good. That's good. Lean against trees. If you can, use branches. Use anything you can. If you want to, Dutch. I mean, I don't know what the conditions are that you're like serving under, but Dutching the camera can always be fun, where you're not trying to keep it level, but just actually like cocking the camera to one side, so you can cock it this way or that way, and it's called Dutching the camera. Kneeling, putting the camera on a knee, things like that. That'll all work. Difficult feels like, let's see. Difficult, I feel like this is a bit of an understatement. No, this is worse. NA nurses work 3 12-hours a week, and that's the cap. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I feel like, I've known quite a few people whose moms were nurses, and they had some. I don't know if they ever actually followed those rules, because it's the way that they worked was like brutal. Just looked at my pay stub for that extra long day. I got 16.5 hours pay plus COVID test play plus makeup pay bump. So it was certainly fair. I'm shocked you didn't get an overtime. They fed you twice, right, Patty Skunk? Because they're supposed to. They were supposed to have fed you twice. Yeah, that's decent at least. Yeah. Ghostly's been leaning against. Yeah. Regretfully, we are not allowed to be too creative. Got it. Yeah. I mean, if you're doing corporate stuff, there's limits to what you can do. Mass nursing unit doesn't fuck around. That's why. Gotcha. That makes sense. All the nurses. These were all my friends growing up in Arizona, so I have no idea what they were working on. I do know primarily. They were. They all moved to teaching. As soon as they possibly could. They left. They wanted to get the hell out of the actual clinic and actually go into teaching, and I assume if teaching is easier, that's teaching's not easy. So I think I ate just once because I was in a latex mask most of the time. Ooh, that's the okay. That might be the big thing because they're supposed to feed you twice. I guess with the makeup and the latex, I guess that makes sense. But they probably should have paid a meal penalty for that. My wife is a nurse in pediatric. My wife is a nurse in pediatrics. She works 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. 4 days a week, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Is that your wife is in... I was like, are you married, Ghostly? Did you suddenly get married? Or your friend wife? Who is this? She works 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Yeah, so 4 days a week. Yeah, I was like 4 days at 12. That makes sense. Yeah, okay, Ghostly's work wife. Got it. Oh, got it. Best friend in 9 years. Okay. Work wife is someone. How many wives do you have? Ghostly has a harem. Ghostly's got a whole, not just a harem of Virgils. Ghostly's got a harem of wives. Yeah, it was like Ghostly's rocking and rolling over there. All right. Well, since it is going to be, I have a wife, a girlfriend, a sidekick, a bae, and a work wife, but who's counting? Ghostly. This is how it goes. This is how the ghostly land goes. Okay. All right. Here's the deal. All right, we're gonna start. I'm gonna go get tea. We're gonna run ads. All right, we're gonna run some ads, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the usual read on stream. So for everybody who wants to write, we'll have the timer up. The Pomodoro will go, and we'll use that for our timing. But you can just mute since we'll be reading aloud if that's the if that's too distracting or you don't want to focus on that, then we will do. Just feel free to mute, and then we'll just reconvene during the break. All right. That's quite the polycule. Sure, you should be sure to manage your time accordingly. Yeah, I was like, yeah, Jesus, that's exhausting. Not really a polycule since they don't interact with each other. There you go. Yeah. I was gonna be like, it's a harem. Yeah, you've just got a harem. I need to decide between 5-hour energy or G Fuel. I've only ever taken 5-hour energy, and it did not handle it well. So, all right. We got. Let's see here. Okay, I've been having issues with OBS. I'm gonna try to add this Ghostly to bring it up, but for some reason, sometimes OBS just has decided to crash on me when I try to do this. So if that happens, stream will die. And we'll have to reboot it. So my wife's fiance exclusively refers to me as her wife. These are good people. These are good people. I shotgunned to win old natural energy this morning because I have a friend visiting from out of town. Okay, and it cured my migraine, but I fear the consequences. Oh no! Did it not give you 5 hours of energy? It did not, for me, Patio Skunk, it did not give me 5 hours of energy. There was not a 5 hour of energy bump. There was it tasted mildly bad, and then yeah, and that was it. That was it, pretty much. Okay, we're going to try to add this really quick while the ads are going. This is going to be PDF readers. Was that preview? Hold on, I gotta find this. I probably should start running this in studio mode, so it doesn't just, like, every time I try to update everything, it just immediately, like, it immediately just takes over my screen. Okay. Alright, it looks like it worked. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. I'm gonna go get tea, and then we will come back and do the reading. Okay. All right. Where are we at here? Let's do. Yeah, some. Let's see what we got here. We got let's do some background. All right, let's do some kind of moody music. All right. Let me see. Or actually, no. Let's do this. Throw on some good old cryo chamber. Okay. All right, let's see here. Sensei, the first chapter is the same. Okay. Hadley makes a deal with the Starman. Shadow Star guy moves like Gumby. Okay. Because of a friend of hers, Rhett, has the Blue Devils. He went to the hospital. Okay. Okay. All right. Was dying. She traded something we don't know. She traded something we don't know yet for the Starman to heal him. After all that, Hadley don't feel right in her skin anymore. Interesting. Okay. The Booker chapter is all new, so I would say start there. Okay. All right. Let's do it. Yep. Got it. All right. All right, everybody, we're going to start reading Ghostly's chapter for everybody out there writing. Hopefully the writing goes well, and we will catch you on the other side, and away we go. Happy writing, everybody. All right, is that working? Okay, cool. All right. Okay. All right, so we're going to jump to chapter 2, I think. Okay. Actually, I think I can move this anywhere. Okay. I do love the design on all these. It's very good. Very good. Okay. Okay. I think this is it, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, part 1 of Seattle. Yep. I can't even let them up and have one win. Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you what, Ghostly, sometimes when I see the vibes that you're writing, at some point you need to watch Twin Peaks. It's a little weird and can be a little spooky, but I feel like you're really channeling some Twin Peaks vibes. Okay. All right. It's also my favorite TV show of all time. Yes, yeah. We're gonna talk about Lost Boys when I wrap up stream today, Cryptid, because we are gonna schedule Lost Boys. All right, part 1, Seattle. 2 weeks later. Coffee-stained bills that were several weeks unpaid were stacked in the precarious leaning tower of pizza atop the wobbly kitchen table from Goodwill. The stack of crinkled paper was being used as a pillow by Booker Boone Graves. Thick early morning wind clawed through... I like Graves. The last name Graves, Ghostly. I mean, I appreciate it. Thick early morning wind clawed through the cracked window. It was a breeze that tasted of exhaust and other people's used breath. Nice. That's got a good textual vibe to it. A distant car alarm roused his stiff slumber. A grumbled curse bid his cold flat coffee good morning. He ran a hand up through hair that needed a haircut and a wash, ideally soon and back to back. Booker's back snapped like a bowling ball plowing over bubble wrap. Jesus, yeah, that's what age feels like. His neck craned over the head of the chair, allowing him a wonderful view of the yellowed water stains in the ceiling. Nice. Two hands splotched with ink from a broken pen rubbed his face. The bounce back of his morning breath sobering him in an instant. Fuck. The chair scraped across the linoleum. Ugh, yeah, I know that. Bare feet padding across the stained tile. Good. You're doing a very good job setting the mood, like using room descriptions. It's good. I'm glad to see this. Definitely like really leaning into kind of the mood and the tone of just the vibe itself. It's really setting a scene properly. The chair scraped across the linoleum, bare feet padding across the stained tile. Booker leaned out the windowsill, a cigarette curling smoke out into the gray monochromatic city. Nice. Seattle is a city I understand much better than Chicago. Gotcha. Yep. I like that monochromatic city. He watched the small people scramble this way and that. A homeless man dragged a blanket behind him as he walked alongside a businessman with designer shoes and Starbucks. He almost laughed at it. It was two worlds crammed together like fish in a barrel, Koi rubbing fins with a goldfish. Nice. That's great, Ghostly. Fantastic. The blind rich and the drugged poor, arguably both out of their minds in different ways, but the drugged man had the transparency not to hide it. Nice. Or some might say the honesty. That was Seattle. Good. Setting the mood, setting the tone. Yeah, that's based off a true story. Very nice. Good. I can tell. You get very descriptive and go into like the thoughts of this is all very good. From Ghostly's time in Seattle. Yeah, Chicago's He tried to ignore the buzz behind his eyes when he picked up his phone for the first time that morning. He braced his elbows against the tabletop for support. The screen glared a sharp blue light that forced him to squint. Among all the regularly dreary news updates of meaningless social posts, he noticed an email notification. He skimmed it so carelessly he almost missed it. Based on a true from Ghostly's other life. The pre-Ghost life. Happy birthday, Booker. West Wing Dentistry. Nice. Oh, that's great. He blinked a few times before the words gained meaning. It's my birthday? Oh, yeah. Nice. The date on the email matched the top corner of his phone, June 3rd. He squeezed one eye as he attempted to do the math in his head. 28, 29, 30. God, I'm 30? Mad Facts, no printer. Jesus. God, I'm 30. That is a rough way to spend your 30th birthday, my friends. His hand slowly scrubbed down his face. 1 second, there we go. His hand slowly scrubbed down his face. This was a realization that would have been far worse had he not been hungover. The pounding at the forefront of his mind proved to drown out most of the crisis, but not all of it. Feelings without voices sang of an incomparable sense of inadequacy. Nice. This is where he was at 30? Like a poisonous fog over water. A smog cloud of half-baked thoughts and feelings clogged the tunnels of his conscious mind. Vapors, whispers drifted through the cracks of the mighty walls he had built up between him and the past. The toxic smog ate at the cracks, ripping it apart like tissue paper and water. Behind the wall leered the bodies he had buried. The smog only seemed to carry them. That's great, Ghostly. Drifted through the cracks of the mighty walls he had built up between him and the past. Okay. The toxic smog ate the cracks, ripping it apart like tissue paper and water. Behind that wall leered the bodies he had buried. Yeah, that's good. That's a great way of describing someone who has just tried to sever themselves from their past, but is also finding themselves in like a continual liminal state. Very visceral. I like it. I like it a lot. Against his will, he followed the smog. The side of him that hated himself grabbed a shovel to dig up those memories. For years he had drowned the past in distraction, drink, and work. He had remade himself. Appalachia was behind him. Those skeletons were set to rest. They had no power over him, or they shouldn't have, at least. Like a prophetic vision, he was no longer in his kitchen. He was in a time and place that was encased in amber. Oh, I like this. Okay. The smell of that sweet mountain dirt paired with the dampness in the air and some untraceable waft of smoke from beyond the trees. The dirt road with ruts for you to drive in. The fallen and crumbling Fetty house off Milburn Road that teenagers used as a makeout spot. Nice. I'm a big fan. Always going to be a big fan of using italics to transition in and out of flashbacks or like the impressions of the not even flashbacks, just the experience of a memory in the present. I'm always going to be a big fan of that. And if anyone argues with that, it's good enough for Faulkner, man. Faulkner used to do that shit all the time. The many times he crawled out under the cave porch with a girl in attempts to reach that yellowed mattress in the living room. It was a cheap island paradise in an ocean of misery. At least that's how 17-year-old Booker saw it. Not that now he knew that island was only ever a boat with a hole in the bottom. He still remembered those girls. Sadie Lucas, Meg Rigby, June Hicks. Nice. Yeah. He couldn't remember their faces, though. The years had combined them into a conglomeration of girls that all looked the same without any feature to hold on to. He wondered what suffering their lives has won them. Oh, Jesus Christ. He is a cheap island paradise in an ocean of misery. Yeah, that's a great line. That is, woof. He wondered what suffering their lives had won them. Maybe one of them has lost it all to meth. Maybe one got knocked up and raised as a kid she never wanted, working a job she hates. Maybe the last one convinces herself every day that she likes the life she's got in her holler. in her holler, never leaving the cocoon. He let himself linger on the people that had provided him momentary escape from it all, pulling away from ambling thoughts of the ones that actually mattered. Fuck. He bit his own teeth. His eyes squinted shut against the rising migraine. He fumbled blindly for the aspirin he knew was still unscrewed atop a crumbling box of tissues. He took a handful, not caring enough to count them before throwing his head back to swallow them dry. They threatened to get stuck, but his hopes to choke were left unfulfilled. That's mean. Okay. Oof. Yeah, I was like, damn. That's raw. That's a raw line. He first fell against the table, wobbling it. The pain in his back from hunching over the table was nothing compared to the fire that scorched his mind as he fell deeper into memories that owned him more than he possessed them. Nice. I like that. It's a good flip. And Viscera, yeah. I'm telling you right now, Ghostly, whatever arc you are on here, I am on board for it. You're doing a really good job of writing a miserable son of a bitch. You're doing a great job at that. He had made peace with the vivid image of his mother crying on the kitchen floor as his father slammed the screen to the back door. Damn. He accepted the memories of Bethabel at 18 years old, holding her baby bump, a gesture to soothe the creature inside while truly trying to calm herself as Jed shot at the neighbor's... oh no, did my... Ah! Hold on. My mouse died. Alright. Probably swap that. He accepted the memories of Bethabel at 18 years old, holding her baby bump, with a gesture to soothe the creature inside while truly trying to calm herself as Jed shot at the neighbor's dog from the porch. His shots whiskey sloppy. Oof. It's a great line. Whiskey sloppy is great. Also, that is 100% some Appalachia shit right there. That is mountain people stuff. Wild firing on a bunch of whiskey off the porch. That's real. That is real. He wore those memories not proudly, but as an outer skin that was as much a part of him as the flesh he was born with. They were gnarled scars, but they didn't hurt when prodded anymore. It was the fleeting moments of light through the terrible that still ached like a 2-day-old bruise. Booker slumped to his knees, shaking his head against the edge of the table. He felt his mind teetering over the edge of the landfill. Memory demanded recompense for his neglect, and it was going to take it. His knuckles were white against the edge of the table, his wrists shaking. He knew there was no backtracking. Jessup was a bear trap that bit deeply into a person's flesh. You limp away from the woods, but you wouldn't bring it with you. Those rusted iron jaws pierced the very bone, and it became you. It was only the buzz of his phone on the table above him, that yanked him back to Seattle. 2 glossy bloodshot eyes peeled open, the trance broken. He gasped for air as he sat up fully. Before we continue on, Ghostly, I'm going to say that this is a thing that I've seen less and less and less in a lot of literature, and it really bugs me. But these, like taking your time lingering in the thoughts of their memories and making very emotional and visceral descriptions of just what they're going through emotionally. It's a common thing you would see a lot in older literature that I feel like you miss a lot. So I am very much in support of you doing it here. Just really lingering, and it's brutal. It's an indulgence of misery. It's very good. Very good. He gasped for air as he sat up fully, his mind reeling. He gasped for air as he sat up fully, his mind reeling for the tether to the real world. He found it glowing and buzzing atop a promiscuous magazine. The screen was facing down, the light sleeping over the glossy, scantily clad blonde on the cover. He couldn't help the pang of fear that it was someone back home, or worse, it was home. That's good. So that's good. Jessup itself calling him up like a ghost to breathe on the other side of the line, just to remind him it was still there. Amongst the fear of was a reluctant and hidden hope that it was Beth, or Ollie, or Oil, or anyone else's heart could never forget. It had rung 3 times before he steeled himself enough to pick it up. Jones? Was the simple word that growled across the dark screen. A profile photo that was simply gray met his disappointment coldly. Nice. Booker closed his eyes and emptied his lungs, swallowing the disappointment that he knew was misplaced. He knew logically it wasn't home. It would never be home. Which should have made him happy. The other side of the bridge knew it was burned, but it was only him looking back. Ooh, the other side of the bridge knew it was burned. It was only him looking back now. Nice. I like that. Interesting. I do like a character psychologically who's like so self-absorbed in their own misery that like the very thing that they tried to separate themselves from is the thing that they themselves can't let go. So I don't know, it's a really good thing to be like a place I don't ever want to think of again, but I'm constantly haunted by it and can't let it go. It's a good conflicting desires internally, which is my favorite thing about character, is they want 2 simultaneous things that are diametrically opposed. Thank you. I wanted it to be a horrible, awful time. Good, Ghostly. It's vital to keep this. It keeps you connected to the character while maintaining the tension. Those visceral Ds make this felt. It pulls you in so you feel it too, which keeps the misery fresh and jarring rather than tedious and tiresome. Exactly. It probably doesn't help that I'm rereading Moby Dick right now, where like whole chapters are literally about a room, but I'm here for it. I support it. Modern literature standards be damned. Booker cleared his throat before he picked up the phone. Hello? Hey, Graves. Hope I didn't wake you up. Jones was a gruff voice, crackled by a life of chain smoking. He was nearly drowned out by a chaotic cacophony of background noise. Nah, what's up? Booker sobered himself as he stood, ambling to the window. We got a potential case for you. Booker's brow ticked up, his body momentarily freezing. What kind of case? He didn't let himself get excited yet. Nothing crazy. It looks like suicide, but I was just wanting... another outside opinion. Are you asking for a favor or a consultant? He sipped a glass of tangy tap water that was indiscriminately old. Nice. I'm not asking for charity, Graves. You'd get paid. You interested or not? A door slammed and suddenly the chaos of noise dampened to a distant hum. Booker leaned his head against the windowsill and ran a hand down his face, trying to wipe away the memories that stained his focus. I'll be at the station in a few hours. You got till noon, or I find someone else. Jones paused to sigh. I like you, Graves. I really do. But you're a name on a list of consultants. You're the name I call first because I know you're good. But I'm not going to wait around for you like Sleeping Beauty. Anyone else on that list would either turn it down or be here in 5. I want you to have the job, so get your shit together. Nice. I like that. It's good. It's good. Like, it's a little bit, it's the modern version of like the office, the police commissioner just being like, get your shit together. Oh, good. That might be on my pros list for future plans. Oh yeah. It's a horrible, awful, fantastic time. Yeah, you're doing a good job making it leaning in the misery, Ghostly. Booker's jaw defined under the weight of the words words he wanted to say. But more, he wanted to continue to be paid, so he swallowed his pride. I'll be there at 11. Thanks, Jones. Beep, beep, beep. Booker threw his phone onto the kitchen table. Bastard doesn't even say bye. He grumbled under his breath. He looked down to the crumpled pack of dwindling cigarettes. He took one more between his teeth and let it sit there for a moment. He looked past the grime of his window and down into the barrel, at all those different fish swimming like they did every day, and he wondered if they were as miserable as he was. Yeah, okay, there we go. And he wondered if they were as miserable as he was. He assumed that they had to be. He loves company, as they say. Nice. It's good. He clicked the cheap gas station lighter that lived on the windowsill and let it kiss the end of the nicotine. He let it fill his lungs, and he held it there for a moment, praying it calmed him before he did what he was gonna do next. He let the smoke seep past his lips as he opened his eyes to his disappointment of a home. With his head a little light, he pushed off the wall and forced himself towards the hall closet. Nice. Nice. Big fan. I feel like there's a lost art in literary fiction with focus on internalization of characters through subtle and precise description that Ghostly has an amazing grasp on. Exactly, Patio Skunk. 100% agreed. It's my biggest complaint with modern fiction, or like, I guess, like most of the stuff that I read that feels like not necessarily YA, but like just general, I guess, popular fiction. Yeah. They really do. They really do. This is the kind of stuff they cut, and it's just detrimental to everything. This is where the poetry is, where the artistry is. Jessup had eaten its way back to the forefront of his mind, and he didn't have the spirit to try and fight it back down. This was his demon, and he would give it the attention it deserved. It demanded. His home and hell. Palace and purgatory. Nice. Nice. Nice way to... Nice! Where clear waters flow to extinguish hellfire. Oh. I love this, Ghostly. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a big fan of the text and the kind of gradient over the picture and these sort of like... It's really cool. I really like the idea of having these like picturesque novels and stuff like that. It's very cool. The visuals in this are rad as hell. Yeah, you're doing a fucking fantastic job. Yeah, see, this is all fantastic. If we're gonna go to digital, if we're gonna slowly move to digital authorship and like books that like not even have print books anymore and go to this, we should start expanding and incorporating stuff like this. I mean, we already kind of did it with like House of Leaves and all that, but we need to start incorporating more like visual imagery and unique design to the actual depiction of the prose. You can do it. There's quite a few New York Times that have oh, nice. Okay, good. Carmilla is reading on now that includes paintings by the author. It's fucking killer. Yeah, that's badass. Yeah, we need this. Absolutely need this. Okay. Part 2. I guess overall, Ghostly, I mean, I don't really have many notes in terms of some things. I think maintaining your voice, I think you could go a little harder with the grime and the grit. But other than that, I don't really... I mean, you capture their internal world, particularly his internal world, very well. Very much a step up. Way better. Way better. Yes, way better. Far superior to the other version. Yeah, very, very much so. Leagues, leaps and bounds better. It's incredibly strong that it lays down the character foundation of the conflict nice and quick. Yeah. I have no real lingering in the way that you're viscerally describing both his emotional place, but also the way he's experiencing his memories and the sort of impression, the constant sort of oppressive impression he has of the town he grew up in. It all works really well. Did the spiral make sense? I think so. Strong opening. Apologies, I'm gonna drop words a lot tonight. It's the sleep deprivation. Yeah, don't worry about it. You mean the because we kind of just met him and then the man just has an existential crisis. No, I mean that's... If you're going to introduce a character who is going through an existential crisis, then that's how you should introduce him. It gives us a very clear idea of who he is and where he's at, and it also lingers and like it definitely doesn't just... It doesn't just like it's not really a mystery why we're being introduced to this character, because we've already dealt with Appalachia. We already see where the story's taking place and where these mysteries are happening. So having him have a crisis about that, and that the fact that he's tried to get away from it and he can't get away from it, it sets both his emotional place, but it also is setting your world and the tone and kind of the spookiness, the dread. Like, why is this town hard to purge from your mind? Why is he still constantly obsessed with this place that he has wanted to sever his life from? Like, it gives you a lot of questions that I feel like lead into wanting to know more. Yes, that's just showing the inciting incident, which is the book, which is where the book should open. Yeah, exactly. So of course it's opening on a man having a mentee B many, and as the word is reaching out with hooked hands to drag him back in. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's always that's always kind of the thing with those. If you're doing that kind of that type of story, which is I always call it the wood, the guy cutting wood, but it's like the action guy where it's the helicopter lands and like we need you to come back, Tom. We need you for one last job. You're doing that. You're doing that kind of structurally, just in a different way, where it's he can't get away from it. Like it doesn't need to come find him because it's always going to be there with him, which is a very good like horror twist on the whole thing. I don't know how to do this, so this great. You're doing a very good job. You're picking it up. You're definitely picking up the horror writing and like how, um, you're picking up, I think, on how to write horror really well, or at least build dread, and you're doing a really good job. I am very impressed, Ghostly. Your ability to write, to transition from what we've read of yours in the past to this is impressive. Since I know horror is not your forte, but you are doing very well as an early attempt for it. Yeah, the atmosphere. I mean, so much of horror is just atmosphere. Why that means the world. I mean, you're doing a very good job. Part two, lights out on. Nice. I like that. It's clever. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, definitely. The atmosphere is winning is doing wonders here. But also, so are the characters. So are the characters. The world, the way that the kind of the lore you're building up. You're definitely doing a really good job, kind of, in my opinion, making kind of the SCP cryptid stuff more interesting than it could be, with this kind of Starman thing. Big fan of that. Rain ticket or yes, you do fax no scanner. That's fucking that term, man. Fax no scanner. It's fucking crazy. It's a funny term, but it's so weird. Anyway, rain ticked against the tin roof like birdshot. Hadley hadn't noticed she'd been scratching again until her fingers were sticky. Ooh, ooh. Her eyes flicked away from the slanted shack she'd been drawing down to her. She'd been drawing down to her leg. Deep red scratch marks. Deep red scratches marked her thigh like hatching. Thin, watery blood seeped up past the skin her nails had thinned down by a few layers. Ooh, nice. Ooh, that's a good description. That's a really good description, Ghostly. Because that like that kind of like the watery blood, particularly the kind when you're like you haven't totally gone through the skin. It's really good. Gives you a good visceral body. It's got some body horror vibes to it. Big fan. Damn it! She grabbed a dirty black T-shirt off the ground and dug the blood and skin out from under her nails. Ugh. Wah. Blah. Go say I love you. You get it. The sagely nod of one who has the side. Yeah, exactly. Wiping her leg clean. Wiping her leg clean, spitting on it to disperse the last of the stain. Yep. She dropped her pencil on the desk, paying no mind to it rolling off as she got up. Hadley's feet sunk into the thick brown carpet as she made her way to the closet. A plastic shower caddy, yellowed by age, hung on the back of the door. She fumbled with a box of Band-Aids until she found one of the large ones. The iron bed frame squealed under her weight. Her fingers trembled as she fiddled with the paper on the back of the adhesive, thin brows furrowed with an ill-fit concentration. Nice. Nice. That's nice, Ghostly. Through a struggle that gnawed her to the brink of madness, she soothed the bandage over the glossy patch of red skin. She let herself breathe again after it was secured. Her bed shouted at her again as she fell back onto it. Get it together, Hadley, she whispered to herself, but even as she said it, her fingers were itching to claw her skin that never stopped crawling. Yeah. No matter how hot the shower was, it didn't help. More or less clothes didn't aid either. No matter what she did, what wrong feeling wrapped her just beneath the surface. Oh, that's good. That's good. Good work. She rubbed her eyes with her palms, forcing a deep breath in her lungs that fell backwards. I gotta throw this out there, Ghostly. What you're doing with the scratching is like it's making me think of one of my favorite movie lines from the original Blade Runner. Nothing's worse than an itch you can never scratch. Anyway, sorry, that's an aside, but it's a fantastic line from Blade Runner. Hadley pushed her thoughts away from her physical prison into anything else tangible. The roughness of her worn knitted blanket under her arms, the smell of wet dirt and rain that seeped past the dry, rotted weather stripping on her window, the ever-present white noise of the rain coupled with the football game that droned from down the hall. She forced her consciousness to leave her and blend with the world around her. Ooh. It was like this, that Hadley had learned to live in this foreign body that didn't feel worn in. Interesting. A knock disturbed her focus. That's an interesting, it's very interesting. Her eyes peeled open and she sat up. A puzzled look screwing her features. A dark figure stood from behind her lace curtains. A dark figure stood from behind her lace curtains. A familiar dimpled smile bent over, peeking through the window. Nice. Oh, nice. Nice with the window there. She sighed through the subconscious smile that pulled at her lip. Hadley shook her head as she stood and pulled back the drapes. With a grating screech, she hauled the window up. Once it was cracked, larger hands from outside helped pull it up the rest of the way. Oh, hey, sunshine. Rhett smiled a goofy grin as he stuck his head in. Nice. What in the blazes are you doing out in the rain? Hadley laughed, stepping back to allow him to climb in. Rhett fell to her carpet in a damp heap. Making sure I still don't melt, he winked. Oh, guy's a flirt. Look at him. All that wit, or riz, I suppose, as the kids say. He winked up at her as he leaned against the wall, not bothering to get up. I'm getting mad Scream vibes here. Just at least with the overly charming lad sneaking in through the window. The wheeze that just left me. Yeah, the riz for charisma. I learned this. One of the D&D kids had to explain that to me. Comes from charisma. Sorry. I'll stop. I'll promise I'll stop. I'm sorry. Hey, terrible novelist. Welcome in. Welcome. Oh my goodness. Welcome. We are currently in the middle of reading Ghostly's story, The Devil in Jessup. How goes it? I hope the stream went well. How went your stream, terrible novelist? Hopefully it all went well. Hopefully the words treated you well, at least. I like how everyone is now going to make fun of me for constantly talking about Riz. Oh, your story. Hey, Red Comet Rising. Welcome. My story got read. Hey, and that's what we're doing in here right now. We're reading stories. It was a lot of fun tonight. I got a beta read for 3 writers, 2 new, 1 returning. Hell yes, terrible novelist. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Well, it's going to be more of the same. More of the same in here, folks, because we're currently reading Ghostly's horror. Crackit doing a spooky story with The Devil in Jessup. So it's a good reading day. Seems like that's the vibe. So welcome in. If you want to read along with us, feel free to read along. Or if you want to work, I run the timer in the up in the corner. So if those who want to work, they can still time their sprints. Let's see here. I was actually working on a comic for work. I need to finish a single panel comic. Oh shit! And polish up an article for a newsletter for work by July 1st, ideally before. Oh, you've got a lot to do. That's cool that you're doing a comic and you're doing a single panel comic. Oh man, you're doing some like you're doing some. That's the Far Side type stuff. You got to be like distill everything down into a single image. That's real. I see that. I need to press a button. Yeah. So I've got my work cut out for me this weekend. Good luck. Good luck. Godspeed with that, the terrible novelist. And of course, feel free to raid and run. I know streaming is a whole thing, so feel free to like duck out if you got to go do stuff. I feel you, but thank you so much for stopping by and having your folks come in and hang out with us. But yeah, we're gonna keep on reading. Ghostly knocking it out of the park. Yeah, Ghostly's doing a great job. Newsletter only comes out once a month, so I figure single panel is better than a story panel. Yeah, that makes sense. For sure makes sense. Fantastic. All right, everybody. Well, we're going to dive back in, but feel free to read along with us or write along with us if that's what you're doing. But we're going to keep on trucking. Listen for a bit and then go go eat. Yes, please go eat. Go take care of yourself. It is no easy task. All right. Back to it. I mean, we only got 4 minutes before we're going to take a break. But we'll do one more sprint where we read as well. All right. Where we go? Okay. Right. Oh, that's right. We were doing the hot lad coming up through the window. What in the blazes are you doing out in the rain? Hadley laughed, stepping back to allow him to climb in. Red fell to her carpet in a damp heap, making sure I still don't melt. He winked at her as he leaned against the wall, not bothering to get up. straight up his scream. Hadley's eyes narrowed as he took in the looseness of his muscles. She leaned down until her face was only a few inches from his. She frowned as the stout smell of whiskey burned her nose. Rhett? She didn't try to hide the disappointment in her tone. He's been drinking. It was just a glass crossed my heart, he said quickly, drawing an X over his chest. Oh, he really is a charming one. She sat in front of him and kneeled, so they were at eye level. You said you were quittin', her eyes besought his soul. His throat bobbed as he swallowed. He forced a smile, though she could see it falter at the edges. I am quittin'. I ain't been drunk since I went to the hospital. See? I'm cone-souled Stober. Nice. He lightened his tone as he forced the joke. Not getting drunk and quitting ain't the same thing, Rhett, John Beckel, she scolded, her fingers digging into the carpet. Hey. He held his hands up in defense. Ain't no reason to go and full name me now. Bugs. Full name me now, Bugs. Rhett ducked his head and looked, yeah, the full 3 names. I was like, yeah, that's like getting yelled at big time. Rhett ducked his head to look up at her through his lashes. Don't give me that look, Rhett Beckel. Puppy dog eyes ain't getting you out of this. Her lips thinned in a vain attempt not to smile. Oh, these two are just so cute. Come on, Bugs. He gave her that look he knew she couldn't stay mad at. He leaned forward and rested his hand on her leg, only then noticing the bandage. His boyish smile fell, curiosity creasing his brow. What happened? He brushed his thumb over the Band-Aid. Hadley bristled, a cold sweat burning the back of her neck. She took his hand in hers, interweaving their fingers as she pulled his hand away. Nothing. Tripped this morning and fell right into an open cupboard. Ouch. The furrow on his brow didn't lessen. You still got 2 left feet, huh? Yeah, screwed on the backwards too. She looked down to her hand and his and sighed, pushing down the festering under her skin. You all right, Bugs? The playfulness in his voice had softened to a genuine concern. I'm fine, just haven't been sleeping much is all. She forced as genuine a smile as she could muster. Yeah, it's like the festering, the itching, the crawling under her skin, all... Yeah, it's great. Rhett looked into her eyes for a long moment before nodding. Okay, long as you're sure. Without warning, he grabbed her up and pulled her into his lap, enveloping her in a hug. I know I'm a dumbass, but you can always talk to me, you know. I love you, Hadley, and if something is going on... I know, Rhett, she said quietly in his shoulder. She squeezed her eyes shut, her fingers digging into the damp denim of his jacket. You're not a dumbass. Aw, that's sweet. That is sweet. Great picture too, Ghostly. Yeah, you doing your little the production design, like adding like the picture. It's just so it fits the tone so perfectly for what you're trying to do. Big fan of it. The unrequited sentiment hung between them. She could feel his hand clench in her hair, not enough to hurt her, but to betray his own hurt, whether he meant to show it or not. Love you. Aw, that's sweet. All right, and we'll break there at I love or at love you. And we'll start the break timer for everybody. Go ahead and stretch your legs, get something to drink. We're gonna run ads, and then we will dive back into Ghostly's story on the next break. You're doing great, Ghostly. This is I was, I knew you were dipping back into horror. Although I do think you kind of nailed it with that opening chapter all the way back then, but doing the noir thing, the rewriting of the noir, you're kind of refocusing on Brooke's character is you did a really good job rewriting that chapter. I'm a big fan of that chapter. You're good at writing like sad, miserable, washed up dudes, which good on you. Good, because I know you tend to watch like write like you're really good with dialogue and charming characters being charming. So it's nice. It's very surprising to see you be able to really nail like just some dude by himself being just broken. So nailing it. You did a really good job. Really good job with that chapter. It's cooled off enough for windows to open at night with a light throw blanket, so Tuscany's getting her snugs in. Oh, good. I'm glad Tuscany's yes. The boy is passed out right there. I had to get more cat food he's being extra picky with cat food. He's been a very grumpy man since I have returned back from Asia. He did not appreciate me being gone, so it is become a thing. So we are definitely now two grumpy old men just being grumpy together. Yeah, he's been like a mixture of hyper clingy and very mad at me. I've met a few deadbeats. Okay, yeah, you're doing it's not even just deadbeats. Like I think even people the real it sets the tone. It definitely sets the tone for like kind of the noir-y vibe, or like the kind of like the guy who's just really down out of luck. But there are people out there that have that kind of internal experience, that look and present themselves as, it's kind of what I really liked about when he was looking out over the people in Seattle, and you talk about the rich man, the poor man, and you kind of have that sort of musing. And a lot of really good, like, not just insights about the character, but just general insights about life are things you can kind of espouse on when you're getting inside of like the character's psychology, and kind of do a little bit of soapboxing a little bit. But I think like, that's a lot of the people that kind of, they're both just, one person's just better at lying about how miserable they are. And that really is, you can see a lot of people like that. So a lot of people can present as successful and charismatic and all that, but still have that kind of internal misery and deadbeatness. So, oh no, he has not forgiven me. No, he hasn't. I'm from the deep south. I get the culture, but I've never been to Appalachia specifically, so it's a little concerning that it's not going to read as accurate. I think just research is the best way to do that, and also just watch videos of people from Appalachia. There's tons out there. There was a documentary about, what was it, the Wild World of the Whites, and it's about this whole family that were famous. I believe the grandfather, or like the patriarch of the family, was a tap dancer, like a famous dancer. But particularly if you want that kind of like deadbeat, like like this whole family is full of just broken, miserable mountain people. But there are like documentaries you can find. There's definitely the people, the blue, I can't remember the name, but the people that skin are tinted blue that are out there from, it's like a mineral. They get it from the water and from the food. Um, oh, it's accurate. The visceral detail. Yeah, it's accurate for sure. Yeah, yeah. And remember, Appalachia is a big area too. It covers a lot. So I mean, you can talk about people from Ohio to all the way down into the South. It just kind of depends. Your reaction to Red is so unexpected but so amusing. Oh, interesting. Okay, because I don't like him because I know things. Oh, interesting. So just like Scream, he's supposed to be charismatic and charming, but he's might also. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily he's a sociopath who's like murdered the mother or something like that. But I'm just saying you might be doing a Scream, which is fine. Wear your influences on your sleeve. I didn't mean to make, but don't just it's oh yeah. I mean, a lot of that stuff happens subconsciously. You won't even register it. Happens to me all the time. It actually, you want to know what's really interesting? Going back and going over Schism structurally is a lot like Blue Devils in ways that I did not intend on at all. There are structural things about what I do in Schism that are almost identical to what I do in Blue Devils in a lot of ways. One is with following two dual characters. One is a sort of the full arc. The other one is the fall arc, where I have a character just fucking vanish. like I was like, oh shit, I did that. Returning to a town full of quote unquote zombies slash the sort of invasion of the town for the third act. It's literally the same thing I do in Blue Devils too. So sometimes that stuff just happens. You don't even realize you're doing it. And I certainly didn't. It actually made me have to rethink a few things. So I was like, oh shit. I literally just did the same thing. And this putting the details in the constant desperation of the upper classes give the working class, where give the working poor in fiction, which is makes it ring true. Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, that's how they happen. Yep. Red is a sweetheart, but he's a very flawed person. Yeah, I mean yeah, will always be my biggest note, and one that actually took me a long time to learn is don't make, if you want villains or you want people, even like the most absurd person, don't make characters of your characters. Make them people. Like they can be monsters, they can be all kinds of things. Just don't make them characters because it becomes it's oftentimes like the worst writing. I definitely, when I did it, it reads as just inauthentic, and they're also just not interesting characters, and they just read as like props, like cartoon pieces. Both can be true and are often are. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. Mm, yeah. Very often that's the case. All right, I'm gonna go pour my tea. I will be right back. Um, and then we will start on. We'll run ads. Actually, we'll run ads right now while I go do tea, and then we'll be back and do the second sprint. What time is it? Okay, yeah. So this will be the last sprint too. So we'll probably wrap stream after this, since we got a late start. Boo, boo, boo. All right, be right back. Uh-oh. Alright. What is going on here? Are we... I see nothing but... I was like, what is it? It's essentially the stream version of toilet paper. Is Ghostly starts whipping out the quotes. Let's see, what's going on here? Oh my god, how many quotes did you do, Ghostly? Good lord! Oh my god, I walk away for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Yeah, I can't. I literally have to scroll it. I'm gonna start logging. I'm gonna start saving all the chat logs. Hey, I was gonna say quote 10. Okay, that's a Ghostly quote. That's fine. That's fine. Ghostly quotes are fine. I'm alright with Ghostly quotes. It's the rest of them. Only 2. She's very tame. Okay, alright, fine. Alright, I'll take it. Okay. Alright, everybody. We are gonna dive in to our next sprint for those who are writing, and our last reading session for Ghostly's story. So, and this probably will be the last sprint / reading session, because we do have to end early, because I have to go let the men back in to tear my apartment apart, because that's happening now. So hopefully it should be a full stream tomorrow. That's the plan. The plan is a normal, totally fine stream tomorrow, with or without me having a functioning living room, is apparently gonna be the big mystery. Anyway, it's fine. Everything's fine. All right, because Violet has an appointment with the Kool-Aid Man party. Yeah, I'm doing fisticuffs with the Kool-Aid Man. All right, we're gonna dive back in. Happy writing for everybody who's writing. For those of you reading along, here we go. All right. We ended with I love you, or love you. Got it. All right. Okay. Let's start a little bit above this, because this was we ended like in the middle of a moment. The unrequited sentiment hung between them. She could feel his hand clench in her hair, not enough to hurt her, but to betray his own hurt, whether he meant to show it or not. Love you. Those 2 words haunted Hadley, sending her heart down a slide. After a long moment, Rhett pulled back, his hands coming to rest on her ribs. His smile was thin and not convincing, but with a deep breath, he pushed past it. You want to go to the river tomorrow? He tilted his head, his hand rubbing thoughtlessly up and down her side. Hadley pulled back and stood. It took every bit of self-control she possessed not to scratch where she still felt the phantom of his touch. It burned her new skin. I have work tomorrow, she explained, with an apologetic look. She sat on the edge of her bed, looking down at him. Rhett was only dissuaded by the rejection for a second. He stood on his knees and crawled the distance to her in stride. He rested his forearms on her knees as he knelt close to her. Oh, yeah, the child is yelling. I carry the world like Aristotle. Yeah, thanks for keeping everybody on task, Ghostly. Appreciate it. No, that's Aang. Yeah, the Shmoo. He's over at the water bowl. He's yelling. He rested his he stood on his knees and crawled the distance to her in stride. He rested his forearms on her knees as he knelt close to her. He tipped his head back to meet her eyes, a mischievous smile on his face. Then how about we go tonight? Rhett, you know I can't. Oil don't, oil, is it oil, Ghostly? How is it? OYL. I'm assuming, is it oil, or? Yeah, okay, it's oil. That's what I thought. Okay, it's Abercrombie, actually. Oh, God. Rhett, you know I can't. Oil don't let me out after dark with everything going on. What Oil don't know ain't gonna hurt him, Bugs. He leaned in a little closer, his fingers playing with the frayed edge of her jean shorts. Oh, all the Riz. Besides, not like I'm gonna let a boogeyman get my girl. Hadley smiled and rolled her eyes to the ceiling. Save your flirting for your Virginia Wells. Can't get good if I don't practice. He flashes her a toothy grin. That's cute. Ghostly, stop saying it. I can't help myself. The kid's got it stuck in my brain. Oh no, I think you wrote it. No, the Riz. The Ghostly wants me to stop saying Riz. It's because all the goddamn kids keep calling it Riz. What do you want from me? I'm getting it stuck in my head. Can't get good if I don't practice, he flashed her a toothy grin. She ruffled his damp mop of curls. I think you're plenty good already. Ah, but that's where you're wrong, Bugs. I'm always looking to improve my skills. Her door, which had started flaking white paint, squealed open. He was wearing a wife beater and faded jeans. A short beard and mustache were growing premature gray hairs that paired with the tired bags that hung under his eyes. Oh, nice. Now you got a nice little picture there, too. That's good. Oh, God, I missed the second Riz while I was listening. Not work. Yeah, my brain is just turning out to bypass the horror. Yeah. Hadley and Rhett looked over in unison. Brett's still on his knees standing between... Ah, yes. The man's tired eyes narrowed. Damn it, Beckel. He walked around the bed in a few strides and grabbed Rhett by the scruff, hauling him up to his feet. Tisk, tisk. Jealousy is an ugly color on you, Oil. Rhett smiled with an unflappable confidence. That is definitely some confidence, man. If you're cracking a joke like that after getting caught in that situation, that is I've seen guns pointed at less. Oils huffled his exhaustion through his nose. We have a front door for a reason, you know. If you don't want me to sneak through your window instead, you just gotta say so. He gave him a playful wink. Hadley covered her mouth as she chuckled, crossing her legs under her. Oil rubbed his face with his free hand and as he manhandled Rhett to get between him and Hadley. You know my rule, Beckel. Abide it, or I'll acquaint your ass with my porch. Yeah, save space for Jesus. I ain't forgot. That's a great line. It's a fantastic line. Rhett waved it off as he occupied himself with picking up a bundle of drying flowers that hung from the wall. Or of the charts off as the kid. Yeah. That's great. That is great. Then act like you remember it. Oil gave Hadley a knowing glance, which she only smiled at. He didn't mean nothing by it, Oil, she placated. Yeah, acquaint your ass with my porch is so good. Yeah. Rev Foreman vibes. Like hell he didn't. Oil's voice rose a few octaves, his brows wrinkling further. I'm innocent as can be, baby. Rhett put his... Oh, man, this kid's gonna get his ass kicked, dude. Like, what are you doing, man? You're gonna... Good Lord. You get hucked out the... You're not gonna get the porch. You're gonna get hucked out the window. Rhett put his sparkling yellow smile on display as he grinned at Oil, batting his eyelashes. Oil's lips thinned and eyes squinted, though there was no real heat behind it. All right, you've trespassed long enough, pretty boy. Time to go tell your mama good night now. He gripped Rhett by the collar and pulled him towards the door, the action firm but without aggression. Pete's sake, at least buy me supper first. Rhett teased as he was drug out of Hadley's room. He passed Hadley a cheeky grin and wink as Oil pulled him out of the doorway. I'll see you tomorrow, Bugs. That's good. Yeah, this Rhett boy's got it. Hadley laughed as Rhett leaned in to kiss Oil on the cheek, to which he swiftly yanked away before disappearing down the hall. She picked at the pilling yarn of her knitted blanket, listening to Rhett flirt with Oil. That's a great line. Rhett flirt with Oil all the way to the door. Cause yeah, he's just gonna keep flirting. He clearly not a discerning boy. Ain't gonna let age and gender stop him, clearly. The screen let out a shrill scream before slamming shut, the thick old door echoing the sound except louder. She counted down from 6. 3, 2, 1. Owl's frown appeared right on cue. Nice. I like that she's got it timed. That's a good little character quirk. That's a good note. Yep. It's like literally by like clockwork. Excuse me, Miss Hadley Grace. His furry brow was in his hairline. But what the hell was that? Hadley scoffed through a smile, shaking her head. One red Beckel, she said simply. Nah. We ain't gonna skip over this creek. Oil gave her a gentle yet poignant look. The bed dipped under his weight as he sat beside her. I can handle Beckel coming in through your window. Not like he's quiet anyway. But whatever the hell... Oil gestured to the space between the ground where Rhett was knelt and where Hadley sat. That was... I ain't okay with that. Oil's my baby boy. I love him more than life. He's very protective. It's cute. Hadley sighed. Her brows flattened over her eyes as though she had this conversation before. It ain't like that, Oil. No, but he's certainly trying to make it like that. Oil cut her off, his serious gaze not leaving her. He's my best friend, Bubba. Hadley refuted. The shine of hurt glassed her blue eyes. The tensity in Oil's shoulders loosened a fraction as he huffed. He set a hand on her shoulder. I know he is. I know he is, Hadley. You've known him since you were itty bitty, and I ain't calling him bad. I wouldn't let him come around here if I thought he was real trouble. But he's always liked getting a little too close with you. He's just a touchy person, specifically when he drinks. He gets that way with everybody, she argued, her brows tightly knit. Hadleybug? Oil's tone had softened. His eyes besought hers for a common ground. He don't just want to be a friend. Hadley squeezed her eyes shut as she let her defenses crumble. I know, she whispered. Oil sighed and wrapped his arms around her. He rested his chin on her head. Just push him off next time, okay? He let his tired eyes rest. For your grumpy old brother's peace of mind. She nodded against his shoulder. I do push him away if I get uncomfortable. And he don't try again. Good. I don't want to kick that boy's ass. And if he needs to learn, I'll gladly educate him. Ah, yes. Rhett's got a good heart, Bubba. But he'd rather swim with a stone tied to his neck than upset me. Hadley pulled away, her eyes as earnest as the day she was born. Oil ran a hand back through his wavy, burnt blonde hair. A few strands flicking back in his face. Beckel's an okay kid, he relented, albeit reluctantly. Oil? Hadley gave him a knowing look through her brows. We're not really kids no more. A thin, amused smile pulled at his scruff. He ruffled her frizzy mop of blonde curls. You ain't even 21 yet. You're still a bona fide baby bug. Nice. It's great dialogue, Ghost. I mean, your dialogue is always your strength. It always has been, but you're definitely not disappointing. Hadley laughed and pulled his hand away, shooting a squinted pout. I think you're just an old coot. Oil shook his head and leaned his arms on his knees. Put me in the grave at 34, huh? You know that water ain't sour no more. It hasn't been for a couple years. Folks living all the way to 50 now, he joked dryly, but she knew that humorful glint behind his eyes. Could have fooled me with that gray you're growing. You're looking primed to be a reverend's next meal ticket, Bubba. She jabbed back. It's good. It's a good line. He frowned and poked her in the rib as he stood and closed the window. You better hope not, Hadley Grace. First thing I'm haunting is that pickup. Cold air ain't never gonna work in the summer, and the window's gonna squeal no matter how many cans of WD-40 you use. Don't you ghost our oil, Thomas. I'll fill the wiper fluid with holy water. Hadley hollered through a smile. Night bugs. Yeah, truck. Yeah. Earl truck. Yeah. I figured it was the truck. Yeah. Night bugs. Oil looked over his shoulder as he paused in the doorway, his smile brightening the exhaustion that hung over him. Love you. Night, Bubba. Love you. Oil paused as he grabbed the doorknob. Remember, leave your lamp on, Kay? His tone dropped with some severity. Okay, Hadley noted, her smile fading. She hadn't questioned him on why he'd been insisting she keep a light on in the past. In the past week, but the dead seriousness that froze over his gaze told her not to protest. With nothing more, the door creaked closed. Hadley took in a long breath of silence before she closed her drapes and changed. Though it was a humid night in the mountains, she opted for pants. She wanted that extra layer between her nails and her skin. The box fan clicked on before kicking up a breeze along with that familiar white noise drone. With a flick of the light switch, her ritual was complete, and she crawled into bed. Hadley yawned as she rolled over, and her eyes met the soft light of her bedside lamp. Though the light wasn't harsh, she found it stung her eyes. For the first time in a long time, she rolled over and fell asleep on her side, the gentle lamplight searing her back. Oh, I like the light itself, like the light burning. All the things like burning and itching and sort of violating from within. You definitely do a good job. It's interesting. I do really like that you've got these these characters are so lively. They're able to like kind of really push through. But you kind of the only note I would have is like at some point, I mean, I know if she is still feeling that kind of crawling and gnawing in the skin, to maybe bring in some reminders of that. Because you've got a really good pace and flow going with the dialogue, so I wouldn't say like bring it in a bunch to like interrupt that. But if she is still feeling that, if she's struggling with that still, I would maybe not a ton, but not just to remind the reader, but also to like in her headspace. Really like make sure that even though we are in these kind of like charming scenes, that we're still feeling her discomfort, because you don't want to let the reader off too easy. You still want to feel the discomfort if that's what she's feeling. The body horror is working as the perfect undercurrent to start pull apart the comedy going exactly. But yes, consider having a touch more in the page to keep the undercurrent present. Hint at it. Yeah. You don't need to go like full on grotesque with it, but just a reminder and really just to stay in her head. But the child is howling. All right. Yeah, I would do it subtly. I wouldn't make it like super in your face. But yeah, I want to be something she's gotten decent at disassociating with the itch, and it's something that looms more. Oh, in the quiet moments. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so she's able to forget. Okay. Buddy, what? Oh my God, my child is upset about something. Um, Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's like if she even uses lotion, if she uses lotion to do that. If that's the case, Ghostly, I would actually linger a bit more in this closing moment. I'd crank back into I'd crank back into the body horror a little harder here. Um, I mean, you've got it set up like she's obviously like got this ritual going to try to prepare for it, but if that's the case, if she's kind of disassociating when she like lays down, you do a little bit. It's very like subtle and poetic here with the the gentle lamplight searing her back, the contrasting language. But I'd maybe hit it a little harder there then. Has she filed her nails shorter so she doesn't do as much damage? Oh, like little detail bits like that. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I do. I like the putting on the pants and like sleeping hot for that. I feel like that adds a good amount of like she's got this ritual. I mean, obviously filing her nails down might not, because that's like a subconscious thing, right? Like clawing at your skin at night, like even when you're asleep, like if you're completely unconscious. So like doing various things to try to protect against that would be like a part, like really lingering in that ritual. Like how she kind of meditated to tap into the wider world. She's good at I figured that's what she was doing, Ghostly, is that she's just very disassociated from it. But then if you want, like, because I know what you're getting at, like that ability to use distraction to like overcome, be it this thing or like anxiety or whatever it might be, these things that like gnaw at us. But like in those quiet moments, the quiet moments are where they come back with a vengeance. So just like feel it, like really feel, like I want to feel it hurt, or like the uncomfortable, like really get raw with it at the end. Just don't let your readers off the hook, you know, because it's a really fun scene. It's a really fun scene. It's really funny. These are charming characters. And now I want you to be, like I want to be reminded that she's kind of living in agony, because you don't want to forget that. Be mean. You have to be a little bit mean. You have to be a little bit mean. Make the readers feel it. Make the readers feel the character's pain a little bit. Okay. We got 20 minutes. I regularly forget this is a horror. Well, it's because you're very good at writing charming characters, and you get caught up in writing charming characters, and you get caught up in the kind of in the moment, which is fun, which is actually good. You need certain elements of levity or things to kind of pull us away from the horror, because life isn't just a constant. It's just not an interesting storytelling thing to be like a constant, unending, like misery porn. You don't want that. But yeah, verbally punch your readers in the face. There you go, Patty Skunk. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Punch him in the face. But yeah, you want in those moments of levity that will make the later losses hurt more. Exactly. Yeah, that's what you want. Yeah. You want them to really you really want them to feel it. And it's going to make it more impactful. It will make some of the harder moments drop harder, in my opinion. So, okay. Let's see. How long is this chapter? I don't want to end in the middle of a chapter. Okay. This one's a little longer. Okay, 25, so like 8 pages. Okay. Yeah, we can try to get through it. We'll try to get through it. I just didn't. So we'll see. We'll see if we do 3. We'll see if we do 3. All right. 20 minutes. We got 20 or 19 minutes. We got 19 minutes. Let's go. Okay. The stench of smoke, alcohol, or part 3, missing. The stench of smoke, alcohol, and mildew rose from the grungy white particle board cabinets. Booker's frame was hunched in the kitchen floor. A cardboard box was discarded into the dining room, its previous contents spread around the kitchen floor. He was a headstone in a graveyard of skeletons he had dragged from his closet. Oh, nice. Great line. Grainy, water-stained film photos floated around him. They were sparse in number, but they filled the space. Booker was stooped, his legs crossed, one hand pinching a cigarette, the other holding a bottle. They were his sword and shield against the onslaught that was the past. Nice. I like that. Booker was stooped, his legs crossed. Oh, sorry, I'm trying not to sneeze. Ugh. Booker, though his body was still in that shitty one-bedroom apartment in Seattle, his mind was 15 years in the past. Back in those woods, where the trees had ears and the rocks had eyes. Oh, I like that. Now we're getting into my jam, Ghostly. Starting to get into. I like that. Back in those backwoods, where the trees had ears and the rocks had eyes. I like that. His young face stared back at him like an uncanny joke. He was reminded of a fun house mirror. How it warped and jaded your face into something undeniably you, yet wrong. Very cool. Okay. Like a deer walking on 2 legs. Nice. That's a great, there's some horror imagery for you. He was about 10 years old in the picture. He still remembered the day it was taken. He had made it his mission to wash Duddy's truck to surprise him. And there it was. That blue pickup that had belonged to his grandpa, with the dented fender and all. Pop always said it was from Mama's daddy hitting it with a baseball bat after he brought her home late one night when they were in high school. Um, that truck was a time capsule. Young Booker grinned through a mouth missing a few teeth. His rolled up jeans were as drenched as to be expected by a little boy with a bucket and a sponge. He was so proud of himself when Beth had taken that picture. He had been out there for hours. Beth had to physically pull him off one of the rims because it was getting dark. You remember how excited he was when he went to his father's recliner. Booker rubbed his arm. He still felt the sting of that chapped leather belt. That picture was the last time he ever touched Duddy's truck, and he learned the lesson he was taught that day. Mama said it looked brand new. Booker flipped the photo. Yeah, there you go. I'm always a big fan of using the page to really hit home when you're trying to say something like that. Booker flipped the photo over and pushed it away as he felt the sting move behind his eyes. He took a heavy swig from his bottle, drowning the tears. He forced his focus on the close-up of Beth and Brandy Marsh. It was out of focus, as Beth had taken it herself, but it still captured her perfectly. That's cool. She was about 16 or 17, Booker guessed. Her eyes were squinted mid-laugh as she held a strawberry between her teeth, Brandy repeating the pose. God, Brandy. Booker hadn't thought about her in years. She couldn't have been older than 5 in this picture. She was still wearing her 2 little pigtails at the base of her head with those gunny sack dresses made from Granny's curtains. That's a look. He wondered whatever happened to her. Did she ever leave Jessup? Or was she doomed to be buried in the soil she was born from? He focused on Beth, her smile careless, free, unburdened by the future she didn't know she would be unfairly fit with. But she would never say it was unfair. His eyes were drawn to another picture of her, one where she is a little older, but not by enough. She was sat in the hospital bed, her eyes tired, but her smile unbroken even after 38 hours of labor. The young teenage Booker was sat on the bed beside her, his smile clearly forced. Little Harper cradled in her uncle's stiff arms. He was awkward, uncomfortable. He still thought girls were icky, and he had a niece now. Booker stooped down closer to the photo, using the bottle in his hand to hold him up. Fuck. Beth was young. When you were 13, 19 seemed all grown up, especially when that 19-year-old was Beth, who always knew more than she should. She was a second mother to him, so it wasn't all that jarring to him when she was a real one, too. Only now, with the wool of youth sloughed out down his face, he could see she was just a kid. That's good. This is really good, Ghostly. Good character ruminations. Very insightful. Very coming to terms with realizing, re-seeing your childhood, but as an adult, and redefining it. You're doing a really good job here. This isn't even just horror writing or anything. This is just really good. It's really good, very mature character writing. It's just really solid. You're pulling out really good insights. Yeah, it's solid. It's really solid shit, Ghostly. Only now with the wool of the pang of realization reignited the coals of a fire he thought had burned out. His hand shook as he clenched the bottle tighter. The motherfucker. Booker's fingers were pruny from how often he bathed in the river of regret and what if. But the current that always threatened to drown him was the withstanding fact that he never did anything to that bastard Jed Wyatt. What kind of 27-year-old man knocks up a 19-year-old girl? He didn't care. I mean, there's a lot. A lot of them. He didn't care if that sentiment was obtuse. He didn't care if there was nothing actually wrong with the age difference given the different circumstances. Or given a different circumstance. Yeah, I was like, Hades' voice, he's a guy. I was like, yeah, a lot of 27-year-old guy looking at this. There's a lot of them out there. I do not see that as a problem. It wasn't a different circumstance. It was his sister and a motherfucker. It was his sister and a motherfucker. That was all Booker needed. The verbal and emotional abuse were extra credit on Jed's part. Booker's jaw clenched as he squeezed his eyes so tightly he saw colors. With an urge he knew was beyond justice, he wanted to bury him face down. He didn't relish the idea of the act, or the suffering, more so just the vision of Beth's life without him permanently. No second chances, no takebacks. He pushed his mind away from that lane, knowing it was straying dangerously close to that vein of self-loathing for leaving her. Oof. Yeah, that's rough. And now we got the guilt. Part of him knew if he uncovered that trench, he might just finish the bottle of aspirin in one sitting. Hey, Kimmy, welcome in, welcome in. We're just reading. We're reading Ghostly's story right now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? Hopefully you are doing well. I'm trying to get this chapter done before we're done with this sprint. So, gonna be springing to the end here. We might not make it. We'll see. We're gonna try. He pushed his mind away from the lane, knowing it was straying. But hope you've been well, Kimmy. It's been a while. Hope you are doing well out there. He pushed his mind away from that lane, knowing it was straying dangerously close to that vein of self-loathing for leaving her. A part of him knew if he uncovered that trench. He might just finish the bottle of aspirin in one sitting. For his own good, he forced his eyes off Beth and onto another photo, one laid to left. His 15-year-old self was smiling, which had become an irregularity by this point in his life. The Siquirk River. Is that how you say that? Siquirk? Quirk? The Quirk River? Is that supposed to be Sequirk or is that supposed to be Q? I'm assuming that's an indigenous word that I'm just messing up. Okay. However you want to say it, got it. Oh, you'd probably be lurking, yeah, doing contract work, but trying... Oh, good, that'd be good, Kimmy. We miss you. We miss you on Twitch. No, it's a quirk. Oh, you made it up. Got it. Okay, got it. But that's good. Glad you're getting work out there, Kimmy, because it has been tough going. It has been tough going. The Squirk River ran dark in the background, the water nearly black in the shadow of the trees. He was hunched under an older boy's arm as he was on the receiving end of a noogie. Oil. Booker took a long drag as he let his eyes really look at oil for the first time since he could remember. He was almost like Booker remembered for the most part. The same choppy, almost mullet he gave himself in the cracked mirror of his old Chevy. The same late teenage scruff. The same late teenage scruff. He was so much better at growing than Booker ever was. He was the same oil as memory told, only his memory didn't tell the full story. Through the fade and grain, Booker could make out a heavy set of bags under his eyes, heavier than just the weight of being a 19-year-old with a poor sleep schedule. He was smiling, a smile Booker remembered as always being with the left corner of his mouth. Oh, nice. But he hadn't noticed it didn't reach his eyes. That's great, Ghostly. That's fantastic. Also, I really like doing the sort of, it's like one of those details that people notice that I feel like doesn't get written about. Is a lot of people don't smile. They tend to smile with one side of their face. And having that smirk be an indicative that something was always off or wrong. It's good. This kind of like the dual memories are kind of, I'm a big fan of it. Oh, you got back-to-back. Okay, good. So you got back-to-back contacts, Kim. That's Kimara. That's good. It's good. Yeah, you need it. We all need it. Let's see. Okay. Do I just not remember, or did I never notice? Nice. Oil looked closer to his mid to late 20s than to the end of his teens. He was weathered. Had he always been? Booker dropped his cigarette into an overflowing ashtray, his hand going to clutch his hair as though trying to hold his brain in. How much did I not realize? When he was young, he thought he was observant. He paid attention to the details because they were everything. They held the devil, after all. Nice. That's good. But he never saw that Oil's eyes were beaten. He set down his bottle to pick up a picture. He held it inches from his face, searching every detail in an attempt to spark some long-forgotten memory to make it make sense. Oil Abernathy was always the light through the midst of the mountains. His daddy left for Siggs right after Hadley was born and never came back, leaving Oil as the man of the house at 14 with a baby and a mama that wasn't all there in the head. Oh, shit. We haven't heard much about the mom, too. The way those memories start to slip away like sand on the tides. It's just also just being redefined. Like, just realize it's always going to be the plight of youth, is redefining, realizing everything you missed. That you just could never have seen. You did not yet have eyes to see. Sometimes you can be clued in that things are wrong, but you'll never know why. Yeah, it's great. It's great work, Ghostly. It's absolutely fantastic work. The reason for his weariness shouldn't have been a mystery, but Booker never saw it. How? How did he never see the tired, long suffering that dulled Oil's eyes far past his years? It was all he could see now in that freeze frame of the past. He rubbed his eyes with the fingers that weren't pinching his cigarette, questioning everything he thought he knew about his childhood. The Oil he knew was always there, with a dad joke or a pun. He wore his little side smirk so often it had left permanent lines creasing his cheeks. In the summer, he would take Booker fishing into the Quirk. Just the two of them, bobbing in that rusted-out dinghy that was more duct tape than metal. Except on days their neighbor, Miss Millsap, was busy and couldn't watch Hadley. In those cases, the boys had a little tag-along. Hadley would dangle her feet off the edge and into the water as they fished, helping dig the worms from their can of earth cake. Oil was always patient with her, even when she dropped his favorite rod and he had to go swimming for it, or when she accidentally tumped the boat when she wasn't supposed to be playing in it. Never once did he get angry, never lose his cool. He was a saint, and in overalls and a truck. He was a saint in overalls and a trucker cap. I can tell why Oil is your boy, Ghostly. I can see why. I can see why you really like Oil. You're building Oil up as a real one, for sure. Friend moved out of town, grew up in a town I moved to, and we've had quite a few of those. Oh, I didn't get when we were young. Yeah, for sure. For sure, Cryptid. My baby boy! Yeah, you definitely... I can see why. That was how Booker remembered Oil. The older brother he never had. The role model his father never was. Not this tired, broken young man aged beyond his years. God, what does that mean for him now? Booker dropped the photo and pedaled on all fours to the kitchen table. He reached up an arm and fumbled for his phone, still pouting from being tossed. Like, the phone is still pouting from being tossed. It's funny. He plopped down on the grungy tile, leaning back against the table. Booker knew it was a long shot, like hitting a home run. With a pencil, or finding a lost nut from the tire of the blacktop. But he had nothing to lose. The blue light was more of a dull ache now, that aspirin doing something. He scrolled to the last wall of his home screen where Facebook sat dormant and forgotten. With a click, the app coughed and sputtered back from the dead with a little buffering. Nice. His finger hovered over the search bar as he took a breath. Maybe, just maybe, he learned what technology is. Booker almost laughed at the thought. His mind pulled memories from the filing cabinet of his past. Oil struggling with Booker's tape player. He smiled at the memory of Oil cursing at the Game Boy that the city boy Corey Garfield left on accident at Tommy Garfield's house after his parents sent him to stay with his aunt and uncle and Jessup too. Get him into nature for the summer. The city boy to get into... That's funny, Ghostly. That's good. He didn't let nostalgia hold him back for long. His fingers twitched to kill the questioning anticipation. Oil Abernathy. His shaky fingers spelled out. It thought for a moment before it spit out one result. The profile picture was of a pink sky and setting sun peeking over the mist of a green valley, mountains rolling up against the heavens. Man, every mountain person on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, all that, they all have a picture like that. So true. He would know Jessup if it was inverted, but if it was pixelated, if it was an outline. That beautiful scene was imprinted into his brain as if it was the shape of his consciousness. The moment took its share of hesitation before he clicked on, and the page unfurled. The banner was a poor quality photo of a young lady sitting on the roof of a cherry red Chevy, her feet hanging over the bed. She was making a face of fox annoyance down at the photographer, her eyes squinted and tongue sticking out. Why like coming out with the call-outs tonight? Damn, I was like, that's true. And like literally everybody I know from Wyoming, that's like their profile pic. That's what their profile pictures are. Is just some landscape picture from. I that's real. It's real shit. He studied the waves of her. It's just one of those real details that like that's one of the lived-in real details. Like I can tell that Ghostly knows right like mountain people or people that live out in the country because that is how those things look. It's one of those beautiful little details that comes with either being lived in or being well researched. Hey, welcome in. You're coming in right at the end, 1312, but welcome in. We're just finishing up Ghostly story, but welcome. We're so close. I know. Oh God, 30 seconds. Booker mirrored the expression as he looked close at the image, the furrow to his brow portraying his confusion. He studied the waves of her blonde hair that fell past her shoulders and the paint flecks of freckles that dotted her nose, but it was a little gap between her front teeth that clicked into place what should have been obvious. Hadley. Fuck, I'm old. Nice. Where are we at? Oh God. We are close. Oh God, we're close. We're close. Oh God, but we got 3 more pages. There's 3 more pages. There are 3 more pages, and we might have to end it with "fuck I'm old," Ghostly. I know. I'm sorry. We'll have to finish. We'll finish this next time. Mainly because I have to get ready because these guys are supposed to be. But we're so close. I know, but I have guys they're showing up here at 7:30. I know. I'm sorry, Ghostly. But we'll finish the chapter next time. But it's just we end on a clear note where he just saw a picture of Hadley for the first time. But so far I'm this is very impressive, Ghostly. It's really good work. It's very impressive. So solid work. I so far I don't really, outside of the few minor notes I've given you, you're really doing a great job, like working outside of your comfort zone. So I think you absolutely you absolutely have either done the research or are picking it up very quickly, making this work. It's fantastic. It's fantastic, but unfortunately, we do have to end there. I do have a hard out this evening because I have to go let them tear apart my living room because of said whatever water leak or whatever's going downstairs. So they are going to come and destroy my living room. So, Ghostly, oh fine. I do apologize, but we will finish this when we come back. I should finally have Vamp Book for tomorrow. But for everybody out there, for new raiders and new chatters, 13, everybody welcome in. I'm Wildlight. Usually we write on here, but for right now we're currently reading. But we'll be back tomorrow. And we should be doing a full stream tomorrow instead of just a truncated stream. But let me figure out who we should go raid. Who is working? Where are you? Let's see. Who is out in writer land? Thank you. Good luck with Kool-Aid Men. Yeah, I'm gonna need it. Mostly just my mouse is dying. Let's see. Who is out? And say bye-bye, Sensei. Love you. Of course. Ghostly, it is always a blast getting to read your work. But in the meantime, yeah, it was stunning, Ghostly. You really nailed it. So, let us see. Okay, well, it looks like Unknown Soul is on, so we'll just go right into Unknown Soul. All right, everybody who is out writing. Oh wait, what am I doing? Why are we? Okay. Oh God. You'd think I'd have no idea how to do anything anymore. Okay. All right. Happy writing, everybody. We'll catch you all next. We'll catch you all next time tomorrow. And we will pick back up, I guess, with more reading. So, love you all. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. And we'll catch you next time. Happy writing. Adios.